IREN stock just delivered another massive green day, closing Wednesday at $47.14 per share. That was a gain of $5.37 on the session, or about 12.86%. In a year that's already been spectacular for IREN shareholders, today was one of those breakout confirmation moves that tells you the story is spreading beyond niche corners of the market and into the mainstream investing conversation. So what happened today? Why did IREN jump nearly 13%? And most importantly, what does this say about where the stock could be headed next? Let's start with the obvious catalyst. This wasn't just a random momentum surge. IREN's big move today came on the back of fresh analyst coverage and some eye-opening upgrades. Arete Research, a respected independent research firm, initiated coverage on IREN with a buy rating. They cited the company's growing GPU fleet, its competitive positioning in AI cloud, and its ability to leverage renewable power as unique advantages in a space that is still supply-constrained. That was enough to put IREN on the radar of institutions and investors who might not have looked at it before. A new buy rating often brings fresh eyes, but in a stock that's already been trending, it acts as an accelerant. But it wasn't just Arete. Bernstein, one of the big investment banks, raised their price target on IREN from $20 to $75. Think about that for a second. They more than tripled their target, and they're effectively telling clients they see about 80% upside from here. For a name that was trading under $10 earlier this year, that kind of target raise isn't just incremental, it's a wake-up call. It tells the market that analysts are starting to value IREN not just as a Bitcoin miner, but as an emerging AI infrastructure leader. And that's the key shift in narrative. For years, IREN was boxed into the category of crypto miners. But management has been executing on a pivot, and today's analyst upgrades confirm that Wall Street is catching up to the story. Let's talk about that pivot. Just last week, IREN announced that it had doubled its AI cloud GPU fleet to roughly 23,000 GPUs. That expansion came through the procurement of more than 12,000 additional units, including Nvidia's latest B200 and B300 Blackwell chips, plus some AMD MI350X units. The total spend was around $674 million, but it positions the company to compete at a much higher level. With that fleet in place, management raised its guidance for the AI cloud business, setting a target of more than $500 million in annualized run rate revenue by the first quarter of 2026. That's less than 18 months away. This isn't a someday story. It's near-term growth that investors can actually model. And remember, this AI cloud build-out isn't happening in a vacuum. IREN is an Nvidia preferred partner, which means it gets priority in supply allocations. In a world where everyone is scrambling for GPUs, that's a big deal. It gives IREN credibility with enterprise customers and confidence that the chips will actually be delivered. It also reinforces the idea that IREN isn't just another player, it's being recognized by Nvidia as a serious infrastructure provider. So with that backdrop, the analyst upgrades today make perfect sense. The fundamentals are shifting, the growth story is visible, and the market is responding. Let's step back and look at the numbers. In the second quarter, IREN generated $187 million in revenue, up more than 228% year-over-year. They reported a 70-cent profit per share, showing that this is already a profitable operation. On the mining side, in August alone, IREN mined 668 Bitcoin, generating nearly $51 million in hardware profit. That steady mining cash flow is important because it underwrites the risk of the AI expansion. Even if customer wins take time to ramp, the mining side keeps money flowing in. Now add in the AI cloud growth, with tens of thousands of GPUs being energized, and suddenly you have a business that's diversified, profitable, and scaling aggressively. That's the kind of story analysts want to put a buy rating on, and it's the kind of story investors want to pile into. Now let's talk about today's price action specifically. Closing at $47.14, IREN didn't just have a good day, it broke into a whole new trading range. The stock is now within sight of the psychological $50 level. That's an important marker, because big round numbers act as magnets in technical trading. 50 is the next battleground. If IREN can break through 50 with conviction, it opens the door to the 60s and 70s. Volume today was massive, confirming that this wasn't just retail traders chasing a headline. Institutions were buying, and that's what drives sustained moves. When funds step in, they're not looking to flip for $1 or $2. They're building positions, and that creates demand that lasts. At the same time, Short interest in IREN is still meaningful, hovering around 12% of the float. That creates fuel. Every time the stock pushes higher, shorts are under more pressure to cover, and that can create cascading rallies. Add in the fact that the options market has been heavily tilted toward calls, and you get the recipe for the kind of explosive move we saw today. Now, some might say, isn't the stock overextended? After all, it's up more than 500% year to date, and it's added nearly 30% in just the past week. That's a fair point. Technical indicators like the Relative Strength Index are definitely in overbought territory. But in a stock that's being re-rated, meaning the market is fundamentally changing how it values the business, those signals can stay overbought for a long time. Overbought doesn't mean over. It means strong demand is outpacing supply, and that's exactly what you want to see in a breakout. Let's talk about risks, because no story is bulletproof. The biggest risk is execution. Owning 23,000 GPUs is one thing. Monetizing them at high utilization rates with paying customers is another. If customer ramp-up is slower than expected, the $500 million revenue target could prove ambitious. Power costs are another risk. Running that many GPUs requires enormous amounts of energy. IREN has nearly 3 gigawatts of renewable power secured, but any disruptions, cost increases, or grid challenges could pressure margins. Supply chain risk is real too. The GPU market is still constrained, and while Nvidia partnership helps, delays can happen. Cooling, data center build-outs, and delivery schedules all need to line up. And of course, valuation is a consideration. At $47 a share, the stock has priced in a lot of optimism. If there's any stumble, the pullback could be sharp. But the counterpoint is that the upside remains enormous. If IREN delivers even close to that $500 million ARR target, today's price could still look cheap. That's why Bernstein was comfortable setting a $75 target. They're looking ahead to what the business could be in 18 months, not just what it is today. Let's zoom out for a moment and compare IREN to its peers. Other miners like Riot and Cypher have also tried to talk up their AI ambitions. But the difference is in execution. IREN isn't just talking, it's buying GPUs, it's building campuses, it's raising financing without dilution, and it's securing partnerships with Nvidia. That's why analysts are singling out IREN as the leader of the pack. It's also why investors are willing to pay a premium multiple. They see IREN not as a commodity miner, but as a growth company with exposure to two of the hottest themes in the market, AI and crypto. That dual exposure is rare, and it gives IREN multiple ways to win. So, what should investors watch next? The immediate focus is on $50. That's the next psychological hurdle. If IREN clears it on volume, the next leg higher could come quickly. Beyond that, the key will be updates on GPU deployment and customer wins. The more visibility management provides on utilization and revenue ramp, the more confidence the market will have in the growth story. Mining updates will remain important, too. As long as Bitcoin output remains steady, the cash flow engine will keep funding the AI build-out. And of course, macro factors like interest rates, Bitcoin prices, and AI sector sentiment will continue to influence day-to-day trading. To wrap this up, Wednesday's move was about confirmation. Confirmation that Wall Street is waking up to the IREN story. Confirmation that the pivot to AI cloud is real and being taken seriously by analysts. And confirmation that institutions are willing to buy into the thesis at higher and higher prices. IREN closed at $47.14, up nearly 13% on the day. The company now has analyst targets as high as $75, a GPU fleet of 23,000 units, a $500 million revenue target for AI cloud, and a profitable mining business underpinning it all. Yes, risks remain. Execution, power, supply chain, and valuation are all real concerns. But the trajectory is clear. IREN is being re-rated from a miner to an AI infrastructure leader. And as long as management keeps delivering, the path to $50 and beyond is very much in play.